Hi, this is Cheryl Katherine and today I'm going to talk to you about conflict management. This short presentation will cover what are the forms of conflict, what causes workplace conflict, how to manage conflict. When I look up the basic definition of conflict, there's fights, battles, wars. The dictionary talks about competitive or opposing action. Conflict is a perception of difference developed in the interaction between relational partners as they discursively create positions and realities to which the other interactants respond. The essence of conflict. Conflict seems to be disagreement, contradiction, or incompatibility. Thus, conflict refers to any situation in which there are incompatible goals, cognition, or emotions within or between individuals or groups that lead to opposition or antagonistic interaction. So, what are the causes of workplace conflict? Well, most employees, including myself, have had experiences where we just didn't know how to handle. We did not think about how someone else's views were. We only thought about what we wanted. When I think about the different conflicts I've had at work, they come in different forms. So many times I did not think that I was part of the problem. I really thought people were after me or jealous of me, discriminating against me. I never saw myself as part of the formula. And the types of or the forms of conflict, they come in arguments, silence avoidance, poor communications, discrimination, just all different types of approach. It's all about how you approach a person, whether that approach is to avoid them or come sort of as an attack. So when I think about myself, it took years of working on conflict management for me to understand that I am part of the problem if this goes on, if these relationships continue. So, as I mentioned, there are different forms of conflict, and we all have had conflict in our lives. But it's important for each one of us to look within, do self assessments, as well as take conflict management courses, whether it's online or with a person to get help that specializes in it. Because in order for us to succeed as global leaders, following the scholar practitioner leadership model, as a student pursuing a doctoral journey, it's very important for us to manage conflict. And what I explained before are the forms of the conflict. So I'll recap: arguments, discrimination, silence avoidance, poor communications, approach, and many more. But that gives you some type of idea. Now we want to talk about what are the reasons for conflict. Conflict can happen because you have a personality. There's personality differences with other people. It's how we perceive things, perception. The number one reason usually is poor communications, a misunderstanding. You don't have to be a poor communicator to have poor communications. When resources are scarce, tension is in the air, and which leads to anxiety, fear, things that will make you attack another person or another group or an organization. Another one that is important to think about: power and status causes a lot of conflict. Power and status. Even if you think about just politics, when you think about people comparing how much the rich pay taxes compared to the poor, The people who are in the 1% are paying the same amount of taxes as someone who doesn't even have an income. Power and status cause a lot of conflict, and that is because of perception, how people see it. One person is going to see it one way, somebody else is going to see it another way. The solution is basically what we're doing now. We're talking about it. We are looking and understanding what is happening when we communicate with people, whether it's in the workplace or outside of the workplace. When it comes to a resolution, it's very important to know that as a scholar, it's important to know that leaders are the ones that can help others deal with conflict management. We have to first understand that the very thing that we are helping others, we have to still work on ourselves. And leaders are the ones that will connect other employees with each other. We can also help sort out differences by not accusing or blaming. Understand people come from all different walks of life, different backgrounds, different cultures, different religion. So the solution is, as a global leader and keeping the SPL model in mind, the scholar, practitioner, leader model, we want to make sure that people are being exposed to the information they need as well as implement those things. An example would be diversity classes, more leadership classes, communication classes, ethics. Wow, and there are just so many different classes and opportunities for you to engage your coworkers, your upper management, but the main thing is to communicate and be transparent. I know a lot of times people call it the open door policies, but what's more important is that don't ignore it. That's so important. In order to manage workplace conflict, you don't ignore it. That's one of the things that I do. I am working on my communications. I have struggled with communicating, but I know that that's the only way that I'm going to resolve any type of conflict is to be able to better communicate. I also know that having consistent policies and having people to read the policies and ethics, so it's just across the board. Not that this person get these type of perks and this person get this. You make it consistent across everyone. I already mentioned, I'll mention again, diversity and inclusion training. But it goes beyond that. Again, it's just success coaching, executive coaching, all these things you have to continuously do to be a continuous learner. One thing it took me a while to understand, I like to be heard. I have to listen. I have to seek to understand. And that pretty much sums it up. I hope that you got something from this. You can always find more by reaching out to me. I am Cheryl Katherine Wash, CherylWash.com. Thank you. Have a great day.